As you all know, as per the Disaster Management Act of 2005, a 3-tier disaster management system has been envisaged in the country. And so it becomes very important to go together and build a resilient country. And NDMA has been doing it since last few years. We have been focusing on strengthening our SDMAs and DDMAs, and this workshop is also another step in the same direction. I welcome member and HOD NDMA Shri Rajen Singh sir, and I will request Director Madam Ms. Mrinalini Srivastava to kindly welcome him with a bouquet. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Our other guests will be joining shortly, and in the meantime, I will request Director Ms. Mrinalini Srivastava, madam, to deliver her welcome address to the workshop.
Thank you. Very good morning to you all. Our chief guest, as well as member and head of the Department for National Disaster Management Authority. Sir, it is my honor to welcome you and to welcome all the representatives from various states. Thank you very much for making an effort to come here today. It is an important workshop on towards resilient states, strengthening SDMAs for disaster risk reduction. You all are aware that SDMAs are the backbone of our disaster risk reduction efforts. The whole concept of SDMAs was envisaged through an act, and as right in the beginning, our anchor mentioned that it's a tiered presentation that we have done in the effort of contextualizing response on disasters and the multi-hazard that our country faces. What we have found is that SDMA have played a pivotal role in leading preparedness, response recovery, and mitigation. Mitigation is something which has come up strongly after the 15th Finance Commission and the fundings that we have had. But our review in last 4 years has been that there is some lack of capacity that we find that number of states have not been able to put up projects despite the funding being available. Most of the time the complaint is that there are no funds available. Now when we have the funds available, we have still not been able to utilize them. So, there's another important thing that I would like to mention. Today's workshop, as you must have seen, it is an in-house thing. We have only requested our HOD to be present. We did not call other people so that you can talk freely. Tell us your opinion frankly. Raise your issues on what is lacking in terms of capacity. You can talk. We'll today look at SDMA from human resource point of view, to disaster plans for the state. What are the issues that you're facing in bringing it to the district level? What is that should be done to strengthen your state emergency operations? How can we leverage data? Why the data is not coming? The Sendai framework, under which we have given consultants and we have provided data operators, still the data to NDMA and then to Ministry of Home Affairs is missing. So what are those issues that you're facing? However, this workshop is not just to identify challenges, but let us find actionable pathways within the statutory framework of the Disaster Management Act, and how NDMA can further collaborate, can support you, how we can utilize our knowledge partners, technical partners, and it is also time to raise it to us that what is the opinion of your own senior leadership in the state. So please talk to us freely, but not in a confrontationist manner. My request would be, let's find constructive solutions to our various issues and use this platform to pave the way for a safer, more resilient India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for welcoming and setting the context of the workshop around which today's whole discussion will be conducted. May I now request our member and HOD, Shri Rajen Singh sir, to deliver his inaugural address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anuj. First of all, I welcome you all to this important workshop today, which is on towards resilient states, strengthening SDMA and disaster risk reduction. Actually, I was taking excuse from my doctor. Okay, I'm not well, got a fever, bad throat, and my headache and all, but I thought, no, this is a good time where at least we'll get an opportunity to interact you people all. And this is a good sign when I was meeting with people here, morning introduction. I'm very happy at least this time it's not from SDMA from state level. This time the people participation is from district level also. And that shows that people are aware that yes, what we have to do at the district level. And it is a very welcome sign that now states are also sending their representative at the national level to attend such type of seminar, workshop, what happens during this workshop. As Milani has said, the workshop is aimed at strengthening the institutional capacity of the SDMA and DDMA. Promoting community-based disaster risk reduction initiative, integrating technology and innovation into a disaster management practice. NDMA is committed to its vision of building disaster resilient India, and this can only be achieved when our SDMA, when our states, when our districts are fully disaster resilient. So you people have to little bit work more honestly towards this. Now you are all aware, earlier prior 2000, there was an approach, 2005, there was an approach for only relief and response centric approach. Now it has been shifted to proactive towards prevention, mitigations and preparedness. So this is a very welcome sign, and this is we have seen, and it was only possible because you people have worked very hard to change the mindset from relief and response to proactive for mitigations and other things. The country has legislative and institutional framework provided by Disaster Management Act 2005, and Section 11 clearly says that at national level we should have the disaster and national disaster management plan. And I am happy to share that in 2016, keeping in mind of 2015 Sendai work, keeping in mind our Sustainable Development Goal, keeping in mind Paris Agreement, and keeping in mind Honorable Prime Minister 10-point agenda in 2016, we have brought all these 4 things together, and then we prepare our National Disaster Management Plan. And this plan is well defined and everything is very well compiled inside this plan. And when we have forwarded this plan to 2002 states, in 2019 we have revised this program plan little bit, and after that the states have started making their plan. And as though we keep saying that 36 states have made the disaster management plan, but it should not remain on books only. Anuji will, when he will speak, he will say out of 784 districts, 684 districts have prepared their disaster management plan. So district disaster management plan, with changing climate change, with changing weather pattern, it was earlier first cyclone, earthquake, flood, and forest fire and all, but now it is heat wave is also included, cold wave is included. So you have to keep revising your plan on day-to-day basis. District disaster management plan should not be prepared and just kept in a almirah somewhere and say, okay, we have, and raise your hand, yes, we have prepared our disaster management plan. It is, you are the consultant, you are the knowledge partner, you are the people whom state have hired, you are the people district have hired. I will request all the people kindly just go back from here, see your state disaster management plan, see your district disaster management plan, and see how you can incorporate other things, the latest innovative ideas, science and technology things. There are so many changes are taking place. How to incorporate these things in this in your plan. As far as this going along, we are moving, we are marching towards the global best practices. India too has experienced a paradigm shift from relief to response, mitigation and preparedness, with reflected in how India now allocate funds. 15th Finance Commission, it was a major changes. If you talk about 13 Finance Commission, it was only 33,000 crore. When we come to 14 Finance Commission, it was 64,000 crore. Now when we move to a 15th Finance Commission, you can see 2,28,000 crore has been allocated for, which is 250 times more than the 13th and 14th Finance Commissions. And there are 4 funding windows are there. 40% goes for relief and response, 30% goes for recovery reconstruction, 10% is capacity building, 20% is mitigation. When world was talking about mitigation, at least we should be happy that 15th Finance Commission has introduced this 20% window in India also. Now it is up to state. State, out of this 2,28,000 rupees, we have allocated 1,20,000 crore rupees to states. It is up to the states. 5 years, almost 32,000 crore rupees for mitigations only. Now you can imagine 30,000 crore. UTs are not involved in this. 28 states getting almost 32,000 crore rupees. Bigger states, their share is 3,000, 4,000 crore. Small states are getting around 700 to 1,000 crore rupees. If you work honestly, if you know your state, if you know vulnerability of your districts, I think 32,000 crore rupees for India for 5 years, I think it will make India disaster resilient. State, that as earlier I said, India disaster resilient is not possible for India. It is, you have to come on board and make use of these funds. India is making of now 64,000 crore, we got 68,000 crore rupees with us. And let me tell you one thing, we are not going to check your account how you are investing this money, but simply humble request to you people is, see your fund, how it is utilized, where it is going. It is for mitigate the things, it is for disaster risk reduction, it is utilized, or it is just spent, somebody will come, sir, मेरे घर में नाला बनना है, उसका पैसा दे दो. That should not be the approach. In whatever 16,000 crore rupees mitigation we got here in Delhi, at the central stage, we have got urban flood scheme approved for 2,500 crores. We got landslide scheme approved for 1,000 crore rupees. We got forest fire scheme approved for 811 crores. We got GLOF for 150 crores. We have taken up a case for Assam and other state Kerala for recover that what do you call, our ponds, natural ponds and beels. We are taking up, Riju Saab will talk about that, and we are taking up 11 more cities for urban development plan for 2,200 crore. For at the national level, when we talk, we can say 16,000 crore rupees, we have our all mitigation schemes and project or program is online and we are investing the money. It is for the state benefit. We are taking feedback from you, then we are making our plan. So same thing, when you are at the state level or district level, please go meet regularly with the staff and say, sir, this is the money has come, 1,000 crore rupees has come to mitigation fund. These are the area, vulnerable area, somewhere the landslide, somewhere other places are there. So please go and see how you can utilize the fund. Now I'll welcome you all here for this workshop, and we want to listen from you people to where the problem, what type of problem you are facing with the states and districts. Why the problems? Now, if somebody tells me to make a blueprint for state or districts disaster management plan, I can give you the 5 points to you. To achieve zero mortality, the Sendai framework clearly brought out zero mortality, zero livelihood, zero loss of infrastructure. If we want to achieve, and we got the manpower, we got the brain, we got the everything we got. We got NDRF, we got SDRF. Before joy, we have achieved zero mortality. You take Amphan, Bulbul, Rimail, other cyclone. From 99, 13,000, it has come to single digit. It is not that we cannot do it. अगर हम चाहें तो हम कर सकते हैं, लेकिन उसके लिए आप में एक थोड़ा सा पैशन होना चाहिए कि हमें ये चीजें करनी है और हम अपने डिस्ट्रिक्ट को, अपने स्टेट को कैसा रिजिलिएंट बना सकें. So my 5 point I will talk is that first is robust structure and skilled personnel. An effective SDMA begins with the leadership and expertise. Without the leadership, right kind of leadership, who can drive, who can say, come, उठो, जागृत हो और तब तक मत रुको जब तक लक्ष्य की प्राप्ति ना हो जाए, स्वयं विवेकानंद ने कहा है. वो लीडरशिप हम चाहते हैं आपके लोगों से. स्टेट्स में ये नहीं कि सुबह 9 बजे आए, 5 बजे बस्ता बंद किया, सामान पैक क्या निकल गया. It is your district, it is your state, it is your country, yaar. If you want to see Viksit Bharat in 2047, only 22 years are remaining. From today onwards, divide these 22 years in 3 parts. First part, 8 years, work honestly with each and everybody, with community, and say zero mortality I want to achieve in my state, in my district. For 8 years, I am requesting you to make this target on. Second 7 year, keep that. If zero mortality, I will reduce livelihood in another 7 years time. And the third, in the last final year, you can say zero infrastructure losses, building losses. Because in every year in India, we make around 2.5 to 3% buildings, office building, school, offices in 3%. Now see, 22 साल है हमारे पास. If you take 15-year target, 15 45, 45% our building infrastructure will be by law. They will follow the building codes, and you'll find the new India is coming up in front of you. This is what I am requesting you people. So effective SDMA. NDMA also encourage the state should take benefit from knowledge partners. This is a very, very important thing. My second point is leveraging financial resources, project management. Very, very important. Most of the states say, sir, पैसा खर्च नहीं हो रहा है हमारा. Why? You are not able to hire the right kind of people. Make the project team inside the fund only. Mitigation, if you are taking a mitigation project, hire the people, make the team. Project management team, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, who is saying don't do it this? But make the project first, get the project approved, and then hire the right kind of people so that money should not be surrendered by 2026 March. Otherwise, what is the use? हम छाती पीटते रहे अपना कि 1,28,000 हमने दे दिया, अरे क्या किया तुमने, उसका यूज कहाँ हुआ है? And at the district level, it is your duty and prime duty to go continuously, meet with the people and talk to them and say कि सर हमारे पैसा दीजिए, हमारा ये स्कीम है, इसको करना है. My third point is collaborations and community partnership. Alone, district cannot do it. Alone, district official and district consultant cannot do it. District Patwari, Tehsildar, Naib Tehsildar will not be able to do it. You have to talk to NGO, you have to talk to civil society, you have to talk to other armed forces, you have to talk to so many people, whoever is available in your domain, in the area. IMD people are there, CWC people are there, talk to them, bring them on board ship. In NDMA, we have brought all the stakeholders on board, and Rijvi Saab has made a coder here. Coder 1, coder 2, coder 3. Every disaster we have a one coder, and we are having a coder meeting. That's why we are so successful here. So this is how you have to develop. और ये ध्यान रखना है कि no SDMA can succeed alone. Partnership is must. You have to hire your NGO, take NGO on board, take civil society on board, then only we can move forward. We have given you Abda Mitra. Why don't you call Abda Mitra here? Call Abda Mitra, call Home Guard, train them. But nobody is looking interested, yes, how to do it, how to move forward. So hire, meet with everybody, and just don't come कि morning में वो दिल्ली ने वर्कशॉप किया है, बिना दाढ़ी बना करके आ गए, बिना टाई लगा के, बिना उसके आ गए, और बोल दिया कि जी हम तो मीटिंग करके आ गए वहां पर. Just see the ladies and girls, how beautifully they have come with their nicely dressed up. हम आर्मी में कहीं वो है कि यार सिंपली ले लो, ये रेलवे प्लेटफॉर्म से उतरे, कहीं सब जा रहे हैं मीटिंग के लिए, क्या सीखा वहां पर? कुछ नहीं सीखा. हाय, गुड मॉर्निंग. My fourth point is ensuring optimal utilizations of available tools and technology. It is only possible when you people meet with the partners, when you people will bring them to district level and state level. SDRF fund, there is a 30% recovery and reconstruction plan. 30% money is lying with you people. I don't know, half of the people they will not be aware that we got this type of funding, we do with it. We keep saying build back better, bounce back better, do this, do that. But from where the money is lying with you, please go, make your plan. Joshi Math ke liye we have given 1,700 crore rupees to rebuild the Joshi Math once again. Other places we are conducting PDNA. We have cleared PDNA for Sikkim. Tomorrow we are going to clear the PDNA for Himachal. And Telangana is in line. Tripura is in line. We are giving from our kitty. But what the kitty you are having, why can't you utilize this thoroughly? So not taking too much of time, I finally extend my heartfelt greetings and best wishes to all of you for this excellent conference, for one-day conference, and I welcome you once again. At the same time, I will welcome Dr. Sonia Sethi ma'am, who has come all the way from Maharashtra to attend this conference and will be benefited by her key words. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your trip. Enjoy your trip.
Thank you, sir, for your very insightful and extremely motivational inaugural address. and giving a direction to our states for achieving their goals of resilient India and to work towards Viksit Bharat by 2047. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, during the sir's address, we have two important guests joining us. Our advisor, mitigation from NDMA, Sri Safi Ahsan Rizvi sir, and Principal Secretary from Government of Maharashtra, Dr. Sonia Sethi ma'am. So I will request Director Mrinalini Shrivastava madam to kindly welcome them by a bouquet of flowers. Now ma'am will welcome Dr. Sonia Sethi ma'am. Sir is welcoming Dr. Sonia Sethi madam. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Now I will request Advisor Mitigation, Sri Safi Ahsan Rizvi sir, to kindly deliver his address to the states.
Thank you so much. After this brilliant address by our head of department, he used to complain along with me against another one of our colleagues that he's taken away all our points that we were going to speak, and now I have 0 points left to speak. So I am caught with the tough job of finding new things as I speak when I speak. So it was a very comprehensive address, sir. And the interesting part of all the things that you said is that it mentions the entire activity and the financing profile of NDMA and the entire 15th Finance Commission's. It was a kind of a review that you presented. So it is a very good overview for the states to understand where your finances are. Just to carry on from what Sir says and go deeper into the financial aspects, which is very important. So of the 4 windows which all of us are aware now, the key point is, आज से 5 साल पहले ये 4 windows did not exist. Nobody knew there's a 10, 20, 30, 40% window. Today all of us know that there are 4 windows in which we should spend disaster management funds. Earlier everything used to go in response and relief and a little bit in reconstruction. Now you have capacity building 10%, 20% mitigation. Mitigation is one of the most innovative and creative things that came out of this 15th Finance Commission. And a very brave decision was taken to place 20% of the funds there. Many states have utilized the 32,000 crores that HOD mentioned. There are about 13,000 crores that are available with GOI, of which 7,000 has been sanctioned. So there are a lot of things that have been achieved in 5 years. There is states I have seen over, if you review over 5 years, have seriously developed their understanding on how the financing works, how to spend this money, how to distribute it into smaller pockets within all the 4 windows. So a fair bit of standardization has happened in the SDMAs. As in the recent amendments to the Disaster Management Act, there is a lot of stress that we wish to place in the next 5 years on building up the DDMAs. So NDMA cannot build up DDMAs. The DDMAs will have to be built up. The DDMAs will have to be built up by the SDMAs. And whatever technical, advisory, assistance that you need from us, we are here to provide you. Then the UDMA is also coming up now, the Urban Development Management Authorities. So this entire new structure has to be built by SDMAs. SDMAs are now the trainer of trainers. Our role as trainers of SDMAs is now, I think, fairly elaborate and fairly done. You are all there in that position. There are some SDMAs that are working very well. If they are putting in resources with great efficiency, we at times learn from those SDMAs. It may not be a good idea to name SDMAs, but we have seen how Kerala's SDMA, to quite an extent, the work that is done has been initiated in Sikkim is of great interest to us. Himachal, Uttarakhand, there are other also at least 7 other states that we have a list of that have done very well in scaling up the use of state funds. So from the entire corpus that HOD mentioned of 2.25 lakh crores, 70% went straight to the states. So 30% only remained with the center. So of this, so the onus of the legality of the financial, the public finance that has been provided is 7 upon 10 times on the state. So we have done a lot of incubation, a lot of new thinking has been done. It is time for, I mean, it's not time, you're already doing it, but please move up further. Then the next 5 years of the Finance Commission will come now. FY26 will be the last year, then FY27 to FY31 will be the next Finance Commission. So there, as has happened, as is the pattern of all finance commissions, you'll have more funds with you. Now, more funds doesn't mean that we put it into structural measures. By structural, the easiest way to understand is the word cement. Don't go after cement. Let other funds go after cement. Other schemes of government are there, urban development, building homes and all that. Use these for non-structural, largely non-structural. If you do need some structural, please use that. We've been saying this ad nauseum, and all of you have imbibed it. That's a real pleasure. Recently, we were doing the phase 3, planning for the phase 3 of the urban flood renewal program. So in that phase 3, the 3 cities that made their presentations, Delhi, Ahmedabad and Mumbai, they were all telling us how they are planning nature-based solutions and solutions that are basically built towards watershed management or water reservoir management. So these were really good tunes for our ears to hear. So it shows that whatever incubation was attempted is definitely finding root. So on that very happy note, I would like to say that the job has become much more difficult for us now, in the sense that it was very easy to think up all the basic nature-based solutions, but now we have the challenge of thinking of more technology, which a lot of it has already been provided, a lot of ideas have already been provided, and we have to think of newer and newer ideas. So we are scaling up our international interactions so that we are able to come back with as good and as appropriate ideas for our own country and especially for each state. And I mean, these days, I don't have any shame in saying this. One of my favorite SDMAs is Sikkim. And they have come up with such a brilliant new idea, which was seen as a show of surprise on Swiss scientists on their faces just this last week. They are the ones who were advising us on glacial lake management, but the Sikkim SDMA was now advising them on these are the new methods of mitigation. The big change that Sikkim SDMA brought about was, instead of just talking about hazard assessments, of monitoring, of early warning systems, they have started talking about mitigation measures upfront. So they are not saying that we will wait for a hazard assessment report to come by next year. We will start mitigation and take that as number one priority, and then build hazard assessment reports as fast as we can, and early warning systems and AWS. But our primary and number one objective is mitigation. So you can imagine that we can think of glacial lake being mitigated one by one. But when they go and find a set of 120 lakes draining out into one catchment area, one watershed, and they find one location where they have means by which they can create some mitigation measures, it will be mitigating the impact of 120 GLOFs. This is a world innovation. It is something that once it is done in another year or 2 years, this will be the number one example of glacial lake mitigation in the whole world. So this is the level that one SDMA in our country is reaching. Nagaland showed the way, small state of Nagaland, on how parametric insurance, which is a very new concept in most of the world also, especially on extreme precipitation, can be initiated, and they've implemented it. So we want these new things to come from the states. your ownership, we will be junior partners for you. We don't want to be senior partners. So on that word, thank you so much. Thank you for all for coming here, and we are always ready to respond to your queries. And if you have any criticisms, please feel free to make them. Please don't add abuses to it, but just make it politely. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your motivational address, like always. Uh, in the meantime, we have also been joined by member NDMA, Dr. Krishna Swarup Vats, sir. So I will request Director Madam, Medali Madam, to kindly welcome him with a bouquet of flowers. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Now we have Dr. Sonia Sethi, Madam, Principal Secretary of Government of Maharashtra, who is with us. So I will request Madam to kindly address the gathering and share the state's perspective. Thank you, ma'am.
Give me that paper now, with the names. Give me that paper. With the names. Thank you so much. Respected Shri Rajendra Singh ji, Shri Rizvi ji, Shri Vatsa ji, let me first admit that I don't have any structured presentation or speech here. This is rather, on the spur of the moment I've been asked to speak, but I'm very happy that I have this opportunity to share some of my thoughts with you. I will not take much time. Sir, I'm going to divide my thoughts into two parts here. The first is I would like to share some of the initiatives that we are taking in Maharashtra in our SDMA, and I hope that we will be able to meet up to the expectations that you have from the states. And let me also admit that I am here with like a curious student about, with some questions and some areas that I still need some more guidance and support from you. And I think during the course of the day's activities, I'm very sure that I will benefit on those areas where I think Maharashtra can benefit from your guidance. But to start with what we think we have been able to achieve, the first tangible thing that I would like to speak about is the institutional framework for SDMA. And as we speak, we are in the stage of finalizing the State Emergency Operations Center, which we have upgraded within our Secretariat, Mantralaya. And it's in the final stages of testing, and we have advanced communications, emergency support functions, operations, in due course, if whenever we have the time, we can also share with you a detailed presentation on all the features that, we have encompassed in that. Just to give you a quick sense of what we are doing API integration, we are doing ERSS, we are doing hotlines, radio setup, database management system, geospatial data, dashboards, and a citizen-centric mobile app, Apatti Sahayak, that we are going to call. I will not speak too much about it, as I said, because we are on the eve of inaugurating it, and formally when we inaugurate, we will of course share all the features, but we are in the stage of putting it together and finally commissioning this. Along with that, to reach out to the districts, we dovetailed with a World Bank aided project, and this is something which maybe other states might like to, also give a thought to. The World Bank was doing a Maharashtra Resilient development project, and we thought, why don't we use this opportunity of teaming up with their support to strengthen our district EOCs. So while I'm speaking here, 4 of our technical tenders for DOCs are in the final stage, which we will be actually, tendering out in the course of the next week or so. And along with the SEOC, we are also strengthening our DOCs, just except for the district of Mumbai, which in any case, the BMC has a very good emergency operation center. So other than the district of Mumbai, all other districts, we are strengthening our DOCs. And as the World Bank aided projects are coming out, we are also using some of our STRF funds for strengthening the capacity building a component of it, and all of these DOCs are being housed in the collectorates. Along with that, we have also taken in principle approval for setting up the State Institute of Disaster Management in Nagpur, for which the land acquisition has been done. And in the next cabinet, I'm taking the proposal for the state share of the fund for the civil construction, and some of the other components, we could club and synergize, but the civil component is coming from the state funds. So this is also in the final stages of sort of project structuring. So other than this institutional framework, which we are trying to sort of build and which will be rolled out in the next few months to a year in Maharashtra, as far as the 10, 20, 30, 40 that was being mentioned, I would like to share that on the 20% mitigation, I think we have done rather well in terms of the infrastructure part of it. In phase one, we took the more hazard-prone districts of the Konkan region, and then in phase two, we took the rest of Maharashtra. So we have completely exhausted the structural part of it, and they are in various stages of implementation. I thought during the course of today's discussion and maybe later, I would like a little more inputs on how best we can design the non-structural component here, because there are various proposals that keep coming to us, but I thought we could benefit from some more expert guidance about having a Maharashtra specific non-structural plan, rather than doing it piecemeal. So that was one area which I thought I would, I sort of specially thought I would come here and discuss in person with the experts. Of course, I did not hear the entire speech of Rajendra Singh ji, but definitely the fag end when you spoke about reconstruction. Yes, I think after the guidelines came, we have taken enough, video conferencing and capacity building of our DDMAs just to train them as to how to prepare these proposals. And I think that from the coming monsoons, we would probably be in a better position because by the time the guidelines came, I think we were already in the dry spell, so to speak, in the state. So definitely in this, yes, and of course, I mean, the big part that goes to relief, because Maharashtra is one state which, is also drought prone and is also prone to excessive monsoons and has both sort of ends of the disaster spectrum. So just these thoughts about how we are sort of approaching this whole subject. As I said, I started with saying that we are trying to bring an end-to-end solution in terms of the institutional framework, and then also in terms of all the components for expenditure. I think that we are going rather systematically with the components, training and capacity building. We've done I think good sort of interventions, both from the district's demands and also demands from certain user departments, whether it is the health department or the education department or forest department. We work in consultation with them so that the inputs provided by us are driven more by the user departments and their understanding of how they cannot have the funds for disaster management, but they will be the departments that will be using, whether it is urban development, whether it is, as I said, forest department or health department. We are working closely with them, and also, of course, with our DDMOs and DDMAs to see that the training and capacity building component is sort of tuned to the guidelines of NDMA and also the local level or grassroots level demands of the user departments. So I think on these fronts we are going pretty well, but as I said that I would like a little more technical discussion during the course of the day and later on some more scientifically structured non-structural components, and also maybe some discussion on reconstruction also. But the other parts, I think we are going sort of pretty strong, and I invite all the senior members here year of NDMA to visit Maharashtra and to sort of encourage us in our efforts, because we are definitely, especially with the new government, giving a lot of impetus to this whole subject of disaster management. And as I said, that I would like to invite you in person and also over video conferencing, etc., to guide us to create, as a sort of a role model for providing, as I said, the entire sort of end-to-end solution to disaster management, which is the kind of holistic approach that we are trying to do, with dovetailing not just the funds provided by NDMA, but also state funds and also funds from multilateral organizations. So these are my few words. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing state perspective and the glimpses of what is being done in the state of Maharashtra. Thank you so much. Now I will request member NDMA Dr. Krishna Swarup Vatsar to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you very much. Good morning. So as we speak, the DM Act is under consideration. The amendments to the DM Act is under consideration in the Rajya Sabha, and hopefully we will get these amendments approved in the current session, and these amendments will be effective immediately. Amendments are bringing some change to the structure and functioning of the NDMA, SDMAs and DDMAs, and I think we need to understand some of those things. 2005, when the act was passed, the SDMAs and NDMA and SDMAs were more a kind of a deliberative body. We were more concerned with the policy and planning. And many of the executive functions were actually assigned to the National Executive Committee and a State Executive Committee. There are many anomalies because there was not enough consultation. So ACSE is headed by the Chief Secretary. He is also the CEO of the SDMA. And a lot of executive functions, such as the preparation of a state disaster management plan, is assigned to the ACC. But if you look at the ACC is just a committee. It has no structure, no support structure, no support staff. So many of the functions that were assigned to the ACC could not be carried out, and therefore in the recent amendment, all these functions have been assigned to the SDMAs. So there is a streamlining of the functions of the SDMA. There are some changes in the composition of the SDMA, not many, but some, and there is also a change in the composition of DDMA. Some we are asking that people from the civil society should also be included in the DDMAs. So we will of course issue detailed advisories and guidelines after the amendment is approved, and all the SDMAs need to reflect upon those changes. The broader question is that SDMAs need to be more active, and what exactly would constitute the SDMA? Today in many states, the departments actually pass themselves as SDMAs. Departments are not SDMAs, and the way the SDMAs have been constituted, in many states there is a sharp duality between the departments and the SDMAs. And this is causing a lot of confusion. And when we interact with the states, we are often not sure whether we are interacting with the SDMA or the department. The division of work between the department and the SDMA is not very well defined. As a result, when there are several schemes and we just don't know who is dealing with what at the state government level, and so First thing that we definitely need to address is the duality of the structure at the state level. And this is a point that we also need to take note of, that this duality must come to an end, that the department and the SDMAs need to come together. There are certain functions as departments which the SDMAs need to carry out, but the SDMAs need to be properly constituted. So that is one thing. There are 2-3 models of SDMAs that have emerged, and we need to look at all of them. One, where the SDMAs are headed by the vice chairman is from outside the government. Uttar Pradesh and Bihar are following these models. There are some states where the SDMAs, the vice chairman is the minister. So, and there are some states where SDMAs simply don't exist. States, of course, are free to decide upon the composition as per the provisions of the Act. But it's very, very important that SDMAs need to include technical experts. Without that composition, if you just fill up the SDMA with the ministers and the government officials, the SDMAs are of very little use. It's very, very important that we have the people who have worked in this area included in the SDMA and represented at the appropriate level, so that the SDMAs get the right kind of a structure. So this is one thing that I have mentioned several times, and I will reiterate again, and maybe we will also issue some guidelines on this. The second thing is that SDMAs, even if we constitute the SDMAs, they just can't remain a committee. They have to be supported by a properly defined, properly considered staff structure. And in most of these states, this staff structure is missing. And why some of these states are doing well, Safiji mentioned about Sikkim. Sikkim has some staff, some Kerala has a lot of staff, but most of these states, this staff structure is missing, and we definitely need to have a properly designated staff structure for all the SDMAs. In course of time, thanks to the windows that have come into being, the nature of the department, the nature of the function is changing at the state level. Earlier we were only engaged in relief. So relief was, kind of only very disaster specific, and the activity would be carried out for a few months. But now that we have windows and we have to have programs, mitigation programs, we have to have recovery and reconstruction program, we have to have preparedness program, and we have assigned resources for each of them. If you have to implement the programs, you have to have this capacity. So capacity is a very, very important issue, technical capacities. The success of SDMAs lies in the technical capacity it has. And most of these states do not have the technical capacity. What they do in the name of capacity is to engage, private sector consultants. That can provide you some temporary capacity, but that does not provide you long-term capacity. That's not the way to go. So, and it's very tempting. You engage, a big consulting group and ask them to support you. It makes your life simpler and easier. But in the long run, it does not work. It is not sustainable, and there will be many issues that will come up. You have to build the capacity of your SDMA, and you have to build the capacity in a way that all the functions, and please don't take these functions lightly. Even at the senior, when I interact with some of the senior officers of the state governments, they are not very familiar with these functions. What is recovery and reconstruction? How should we go about that? What is mitigation and how should we go about that? So it's very important, and if you are not able to familiarize yourself with these functions and what these functions entail, what these functions require, then you will not be able to utilize your resources properly. So the financial management of the resources that are available to the states and the technical capacities that are needed to utilize these resources are very closely related. So please think of a long-term strategy through which you have properly constituted SDMAs, you have the staff, the necessary, the technical experts supporting various functions, and you also develop a work plan through which you utilize all the assigned resources for different functions. These resources will expand because every finance commission, the resources are increasing, and now that these funding windows have been created, they will continue. We will not go back to the relief model where we just spend the money on relief, and so long as we are able to transmit all the resources. I have time to speak?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So long as we are able to transmit all the resources through direct benefit transfer, we are fine. No, this model is not going to work anymore. We have to have programs, and we have to develop the programs, and not just that, we also need to work with the Government of India to get more money and more programs. The climate change impacts are visible. There are many ways in which the states are experiencing disasters, and we need to have more and more programs. So, and when we implement the programs, it's not just about developing the program and implementing it, monitoring it, providing progress reports. All kinds of accountability would kick in, and you will have to report upon these things. So, and without the necessary staff structure, we will not be able to do that. We are implementing a number of mitigation programs today. We have started, and we are struggling with all the states. I'm telling you, without the exception, we are struggling with all these states. We are doing the landslide program for landslide programs implemented in 15 states. We have given 5 reminders to all these states, to get the program, to get the details of the program. They have not come yet. Why? It's not that states are not deliberately sending the program, because the states don't have the capacity to prepare the programs. Let's face that. GLOF, landslides, urban floods, we have worked for 2 years with the states to get the urban flood programs. Every program we are struggling. Now we are going to go ahead with the drought, forest fires, then lightning, all the programs that we are doing with the states. It is difficult to get the proposals. And it's simply because the states do not have right now the technical capacity, and it's also our job, it's also your job, that we develop the appropriate technical capacities within the SDMAs to respond to the challenges. The 16th Finance Commission is very much here. They are deliberating it, but they will definitely ask this question: if you don't have the capacity to spend the money, why should we give more? and our utilization and this last 2-3 years, this whole system is undergoing a change. We are developing new funding windows, we are developing guidelines, all of them have taken a lot of time, lot of thinking, lot of consideration, lot of struggle, but the change is very much there. And as we are trying to negotiate the change, we also need to think of the internal strengthening that is needed within the system. Disaster management is becoming an independent professional stream in the country. So the 16th Finance Commission will definitely raise some of the hard questions. Why have we not been able to spend the money? And we will of course find the answers. But the truth is this, that we need to persist with the changes. And without those changes, the business as usual model is not going to help us much. We will again in April, we will convene again with all the states to discuss our recommendations for the 16th Finance Commission. So I'm just again informing you that we will look at the allocations, the state allocations, and we will look at the criteria for the state allocations, how the criteria need to be improved, and how we can get more and more resources. But at some point, our performance as the State Disaster Management Authority will definitely be called into question. So this is something that we definitely need to take into account. One of the major amendments to the Act is the requirement of setting up the SDRF, State Disaster Response Force. And this is something that we have been asking all the states, please, we need to constitute the SDRF. We need to make a beginning. All the states must constitute the SDRF. Now that the Act has been passed, it is a legal requirement. So this is another exercise that we must do. How should we constitute the SDRF? What should be the strength at the state level? How should we decide what is the optimal strength? So this is another issue that is very, very important. The one final thing is about the disaster management plans. And this is another thing that the amendment to the Act entails, that the periodicity of the plan should improve. We prepare the plan and then just we leave it at that. The plan should be revised periodically, more frequently. And so how should we go about the state updating the state disaster management plans, district disaster management plans? So this is another area, and this is a big engagement on part of the state disaster management authorities. And since disaster management plan is a dynamic thing, it needs to be updated on a regular basis. This requires again a full-fledged capacity to deal with. Because it's not just the state disaster management plan, it's also the departmental plans, it's also the contingency plans, it's also the district disaster management plans. So a whole lot of functions are there, and it's all very, very important that you have at least a few technical experts to review these plans on a continuous basis. So disaster management planning and its periodic updating would be a very important activity in the course of time. So thank you very much, and these are some of my initial thoughts, and as the day goes, we will have more discussion. Of course, we will also address some of the critical issues related to mitigation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for important address highlighting the issues concerning SDMAs like structure, capacities, disaster and planning, etc., and suggesting some possible ways out for them. Before we break for tea, I will request my colleague Ranu Chauhan, Senior Consultant Earthquake, to kindly propose a vote of thanks.
Good morning to all. It is my privilege to propose vote of thanks for this important workshop. Respected seniors from NDMA, Dr. Sonia Sethi ma'am from Government of Maharashtra, and all the representatives from various states on behalf of NDMA, I express all your presence in this important workshop. And to all the respected seniors who have delivered the various measures that state can take for the effective risk reduction in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramu. Now we will break for tea only for 15 minutes. Please come back within 15 minutes. It is just outside the hall in the lobby area. Tea is available. So we all reassembled at 11:20 for technical session. Online participants can also break for 15 minutes and join back by 11:20.
अभी सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि अब आप स्टेट वाइज बैठिएगा. Those who are in good numbers, their representatives can sit behind the concerned state. So आप लोग state wise बैठिए. Even if the seat is vacant is fine. We just want to know which state is present, and we know we can take proceeding accordingly. Thank you.
put your camera on and keep yourself muted. Camera on and keep yourself muted. Those who are still outside are requested to come back to the hall. Everyone, please help people getting inside.
हेलो हाँ हाँ बताइए जी जी वो तो अब नहीं हम ऑलरेडी एंगेज हैं ठीक थैंक यू
All are requested to kindly come back to the hall for technical session 1. Welcome back to the technical session. We are starting with technical session 1, which is review of human resources and disaster management planning in states. In this technical session, we will be covering 2 thematic areas. One is human resources in SDMAs, and second is status of disaster management plans, SDMP and DDMP, and updates. We are not disturbing the seating arrangements as all of you are being seated there. You can make your presentations from your respective seats only. The session will be chaired by member and HOD NDMA, Shri Rajendra Singh sir. A moderator for the session is Madam Mrinalini Srivastava, Director NDMA. Rapporteur is Mr. Abhinav Walia, and session will be facilitated by Shri Priyank Jindal, Senior Consultant. So over to you, sir. Okay, ma'am.
If we may all please settle in quickly. So, as you're all aware that the theme is We are going to review human resources and discuss around the disaster management planning in states. Sir, to the chair, I would like to inform that so most of the participants here today are either the consultants or representatives who are in the district level. Not many senior level representation is here. So our request to all the consultants would be, give us ground reality when you are working on the various issues on HR and your frank opinion. However, I'll call upon 5 states. Maharashtra, ma'am is already with us here. Bihar is present. Sikkim, Chandigarh, Andaman and Nicobar.
Yes, ma'am.
Online. Before the start, I would like to also apprise the chair that out of the various SDMAs present, only Bihar, Andaman Nicobar, Kerala, Odisha, Gujarat, UP have full-fledged proper SDMAs. Ma'am, I would like to also mention that Maharashtra is still not in that category of a full-fledged SDMA. But this just to park the thought with you on that, and Krishna sir would then help us more on that understanding. So I would like that these states, and I'll call upon each state, please stick to just 2 to 3 minutes, essentially to tell about the overview of your current status as you understand of SDMA. आप हमें वहाँ पर अपनी करंट कितने लोग वहाँ हैं, हम सिर्फ अभी ह्यूमन रिसोर्स की बात करेंगे, आपकी फॉर्मेशन किस तरह से है और आप उस गवर्नेंस स्ट्रक्चर को कैसे समझ रहे हैं. So I'll first start with Bihar.
नमस्कार मैम और रिस्पेक्टेड मेंबर सर, HOD सर और NDMA टीम के ऑल मेंबर सर को नमस्कार सर. मैं बिहार के कटिहार डिस्ट्रिक्ट से कंसल्टेंट हूँ मैम. मैं NDMA प्रोजेक्ट के तहत कई जिलों में काम किया हूँ. वर्तमान में अभी कटिहार में हूँ मैम. और कटिहार डिस्ट्रिक्ट में लगभग 3 साल से भी हूँ, जो 8 मई को मेरा कटिहार में कंसल्टेंट का टेन्योर पूरा हो रहा है. मैं फील्ड में ज़्यादा काम करने पे जोर देता हूँ मैम और फील्ड में ज़्यादा रहा हूँ बिहार में और एक एक आपदा को मैं करीब से देखा हूँ. बिहार में जैसे अभी बाढ़ की समस्या रहती है, भूकंप की समस्या है, लू है, उसके बाद हमारे बिहार में आगजनी की घटना बहुत ज़्यादा होती है, आग लगी कांड जिसको हम लोग बिहार में उसको लोकल डिजास्टर के अंदर रखे हुए हैं. उसके बाद हमारे बिहार में जो है काम करने में कठिनाई बहुत ज़्यादा हो रही है.
मैं आपको यहाँ पर रोकूंगी. अभी आप सिर्फ ये बताएं कि आपके यहाँ SDMA है, चेयरमैन है, मेंबर हैं, आपके SDMA में कितनी स्ट्रेंथ है, कितने जिलों में आपके रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स हैं, वो बताएं.
यस मैम.
मेरी आप सब लोगों से रिक्वेस्ट है, गुजारिश है कि हमें ये बताइए कि SDMA की गवर्नमेंट सेक्शन कितनी की है. 30 आदमी की है, 35 आदमी की है. यूपी के अंदर 112 आदमियों की सेक्शन स्ट्रेंथ. तो और बॉन्ड कितने हैं अगेंस्ट इतने 36 के अगर किसी की है तो हाउ मेनी पीपल आर बॉन्ड विद यू. और जो बॉन्ड हैं जो आपके पास है इस समय, वो डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट में कितने निपुण है, उनके बैकग्राउंड क्या है. अगर इसके विषय में ज़्यादा बोलेंगे, हमें पता है आप कटिहार में बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, यू आर डूइंग गुड जॉब. और इस SDMA के अंदर जो है डिस्ट्रिक्ट का भी प्रावधान उसमें किया हुआ है कि नहीं किया हुआ है, ये बताइए बेटा.
सर कटिहार बिहार में 2 डिस्ट्रिक्ट में कंसल्टेंट वर्तमान में है सर. एक जमुई डिस्ट्रिक्ट है, एक बिहार से कटिहार से मैं हूँ. और SDMA बिहार में जो है काम कर रही है, बट हम लोग के प्रोजेक्ट के तहत जो है सुपरविजन जो इसका जो है सही से नहीं हो पाता क्योंकि उनके सीनियर कंसल्टेंट नहीं है सर. मैं प्रत्येक माह लगभग 20 से 25 दिन फील्ड में डिजास्टर के प्रति कार्यक्रम करता हूं. मेरा कोई ऊपर से SDMA की तरफ से कोई इनका गाइडलाइन नहीं कर पाते, ना मेरा चीज़ को आगे पहुंचा पाते हैं. NDMA से मैं एक आग्रह करता हूं सर, अपने काम के बेसिस पे जो भी कंसल्टेंट NDMA के प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर आते हैं उनका प्रत्येक माह जो है हम लोग की काम क्या किए उसकी समीक्षा, एक फोटोग्राफ, एक रिपोर्ट मांगेंगे तो हम लोग देने के लिए तैयार रहते हैं सर. और दूसरी बात, सभी कंसल्टेंट जो भी हम लोग आते हैं सर, बराबर लगा रहता है कि 3 साल बाद हम लोग को जाना ही है सर। तो मेरा भी अभी से चिंता का विषय हो गया कि मैं 8 मई के बाद मेरा कटिहार में जब टर्म पूरा हो रहा था मैं कहाँ जाऊँ, क्योंकि डिजास्टर फील्ड में मैं लगभग 10 साल से काम कर रहा हूँ सर। अभी आपके ही सर एनडीएमए के ही प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर सर। तो
थैंक यू।
एसडीएमए में सर अभी मेरे यहाँ 50 से 60 आदमी है सर। जी सर। नहीं, इस बार सेक्शन गवर्नमेंट का हुआ है सर, 46 पोस्ट का सर। जी सर। ओ जी नहीं सर, वो पोस्ट जो है अभी होल्ड में, अभी वैकेंसी
सर
निकली नहीं।
हम ये भी कर सकते हैं, हमारे भी एनडीएमए में जो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव उस स्टेट को देख रहे हैं, आप भी रेस्पॉन्ड करेंगे। बिहार के बारे में क्विकली एक ओवरव्यू दीजिए, जो भी बिहार को देखते हैं, जो लुकिंग आफ्टर बिहार, बताएं।
सर सो बिहार स्टेट डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी जो है काफ़ी एक्टिवली वर्क कर रही है, और फ्यू ऑफ आवर कंसल्टेंट्स विजिटेड, तो वहाँ का जो स्टेट इमरजेंसी ऑपरेशन सेंटर है वो भी काफ़ी अच्छे से वर्क कर रहा है, और हमने समय समय पे वहाँ पे मॉक ड्रिल्स करवाई है। और सर वहाँ के सभी डिपार्टमेंट्स ने डिजास्टर रिस्क रिडक्शन को मेन स्ट्रीमिंग किया है। लाइक सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स जो है महिलाओं का जो लाइवलीहुड पे काम करता है, तो उनको भी डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट की ट्रेनिंग देते हैं। स्कूल्स में उन्होंने आपदा प्रबंधन के ऊपर डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट पे एक कैलेंडर बनाया है, सो दैट कि ऑल स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स जो है।
नहीं, आप प्लीज़ हमें फिर से स्ट्रेंथ पर बताइए कि क्या इशू आ रही है ह्यूमन रिसोर्स की आपके नज़र से, क्योंकि उन्होंने जैसे बताया। एंड आई विल रिक्वेस्ट कृष्णा सर
May I add something?
प्लीज वेट।
I am consultant. I have been consultant in Muzaffarpur of Bihar. Bihar is actually
कहाँ पर है आप? हाथ उठा दीजिए
ऑनलाइन
जरा।
सर, ऑनलाइन।
ऑनलाइन है जी, अच्छा बताइए।
online. I am Mohammed Saqib Khan, and I was working in Muzaffarpur. And I have to state about Bihar that Bihar is actively working on the mitigation of multi-hazard aspect. But the main gap is human resource in districts and as well as in blocks. There is circle officers who are managing disaster. So they have a human resource. Actually, no. When we are working in DDMA as a consultant, there was DDMA was active, but currently the DDMA are not functioning in Bihar. So this is the issue.
ओके अनुज, व्हाट आई वाज टॉकिंग टू यू कि अगले एक हफ्ते 10 दिन में पूरे 36 स्टेट से उनका वो मांगे कि व्हाट इज द गवर्नमेंट सैंक्शन कितनी है एसडीएमए की, डीडीए उसमें इंक्लूड है, डीडीएमए उसमें इंक्लूड है कि नहीं है, और अगेंस्ट में कितने बॉन्ड हैं। गवर्नमेंट सैंक्शन इज 46, बॉन्ड 26, तो दे शोज देयर इज अ शॉर्टेज ऑफ 11 और 21 पीपल। तो वो 21 पीपल, वाई दीज पीपल आर नॉट हायरिंग, उसके लिए हम बात क्या करेंगे। आप पूरे स्टेट से, पूरे ऑल ओवर द इंडिया जितने भी स्टेट्स हैं उनका मांगिए, बायोडाटा मांगिए कि कितना है उनके पास, ठीक है ना।
एक चीज़ सर मैं ऐड करना चाहूँगा सर, चूँकि मैं बिहार में रहा हुई हूँ बीएसडीएमए में भी और टच में रहता हूँ। आई थिंक बिहार इज वत्सा सर विल आल्सो एग्री वन ऑफ द स्टेट्स मतलब लाइक हु हैज बेस्ट स्ट्रक्चर इन टर्म्स ऑफ ह्यूमन रिसोर्स. They have sanctioned posts, they have dedicated SDMA, and they have also sanctioned district level positions which are filled through BPSC, Bihar Public Service Commission, District Disaster Management Officers. So this is for information.
Okay, thank you.
But one of the biggest problem the BSDMA is facing is that it has been completely excluded from the implementation of mitigation programs. See, if you look at the Act, the SDMAs are responsible for the mitigation. The provisions of the Act are very, very clear. The mitigation fund, state mitigation fund, would be applied by the State Disaster Mitigation Authority. But right now in Bihar, the SDMAs don't concern themselves with the mitigation programs, and this is the biggest weakness of the mitigation programs in Bihar. Anyone from Bihar would like to respond to the issue that I have raised?
Sir, actually, so we're just taking the states on a first,
Five state
overall
में
this
गया था,
thing. But
five
I've
state
taken
में
note
गया
of your query,
Okay,
sir.
yeah, please, go ahead.
Sikkim, and I'll also request you to stick to it. That what is the current status as per the Act, and what are the gaps in terms of the human resource, even including the expertise and other things.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to all. Honorable Chair as well as members of NDMA and all the officers and representatives from all the states. As far as Sikkim is concerned, the SSDMA has been constituted, and as per the institutional framework, we have a SSDMA chairperson and a vice chairperson, and we have altogether at the present moment 33 number of officials who are on regular basis, and recently we have obtained the approval of the government for forming of a separate cadre for disaster management. So that is that has been approved by the cabinet, and the proposal is under process for issuance of a notification as such. As far as Sikkim is concerned, Apada Mitra scheme was carried out, and in the state of Sikkim, almost 199 Gram Panchayat units are there, and with their respective villages. So, at the present moment, the government has inducted 1,168 officials who are designated as disaster managers in their respective villages. And in tune with the Apada Mitra, we are conducting trainings for them, and we are training them on basically flood management as well as hill terrain management for rescue operations and all these things. So likewise, we are coordinating, although we don't have the technical expertise in SSDMA at the present moment, we are coordinating with various departments like the Director of Department of Science and Technology, Mines and Minerals, Geology, Forest Department, Police Department, and other central agencies. SDRF formation has been approved by the government, and we are having 25 individuals with sanctioned strength at the 6 districts under the DDMA, that is the chairperson district collector. So these SDRF personnel will be stationed, and they will be trained, and they will be carrying out the rescue operations in tandem with the police force, fire services, and forest officials. As far as SDMP is concerned, the first SDMP we prepared in the year 2015 and 16, and that has been revised in 2022. So we have supplied the copies to the NDMA also for the review and reference. So these are my views on Sikkim, please. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to Chandigarh.
Hello, good morning everyone. I'm Dr. Balakrishna, Senior Consultant Chandigarh. So it's been 6 months I've been working with Chandigarh government. Earlier I was with Andhra Pradesh. And the structure, officially Chandigarh has SDMA and DDMA, but Chandigarh being a small UT, all the works are being done in the district level only. Then the SDMA, the chairperson is the administrator and the district commissioner, and there is one nodal officer for disaster management who has other assignment like protocol duties and other duties also. So, and apart from that, the disaster management is under civil defense, who has around 24 response volunteers who work round the clock on shift basis, and 2 civil defense instructor. And as far as disaster management, there are no expertise in the Chandigarh. And regarding the disaster management plan, earlier they were having the disaster management as state disaster management plan in 2014, and now it is being prepared. And after a couple of meeting with the departments, and the departmental disaster management plan is also being prepared. And for IRT, the file is under process for the notification.
For what?
For notifying. Incident response team.
Thank you. Andaman and Nicobar.
Good morning, ma'am. Respected member of NDMA, all the representatives from the states. This is Dr. Sapan Kumar Vishwas, Senior Consultant SFDRF. Andaman Nicobar. Ma'am, regarding the human resource of SDMA in Andaman Nicobar is like that SDMA is constituted and there is only the all the officials are there. There is no strength is sanctioned for SDMA. However, there is one department is running under in the name of Director of Disaster Management, where 22 posts are sanctioned, out of which 11 are filled and 11 are vacant. Most of them are cadre based or administrative in nature. Other than there are 34 posts has been sent for to MHA for approval for SCOC, district EOC and other EOCs, and proposal of SDRF, raising of SDRF also approved by our Honorable Lieutenant Governor and submitted to MHA for raising of SDRF. Apart from that, disaster management plan for state has been prepared in the 2012, then subsequently updated in 2016, and now for 2020 from where the date of I joined in the year 23 I prepared with the consultation with all the department Andaman Nicobar disaster management plan and submitted for approval now. It's in the file is in process. And other than that, notification of IRS is been done in the year 2017 and between 18, and for recently we notified the oil spill contingency crisis management group at the level of UT, district and subdivision level, and IRS, which is already been notified, that is up to the level of island level, because this island, Andaman Nicobar island is spread over 700 kilometer north to south, and most of the islands are scattered. So for tackling of disaster in particular island, so every island have their own IRT teams. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I would like to inform the chair, sir, these are the four, sample states that we had taken where reasonable structure is there. Now we would like to hear from West Bengal. West Bengal, we request you to give us the picture in terms of what you understand of your SDMA and what's the status in terms of human resources, please.
Good morning, ma'am, and all esteemed members from NDMA and other delegates. Actually, from last few years, our SDMA is functional under the Department of Disaster Management and Civil Defense, and also some professionals are deputed in district level, especially in coastal districts, are functional during disaster. But so far as mitigation is concerned, we are lacking behind. Actually, we had a cell during implementation of NCRMP 2, which has been closed, and after that one ICR MRP has been proposed from NDMA, and after that one's formation, cell formation is under process. I think under your active guidance, we may convert it as a SDMA to make it functional fruitfully and as per requirement and guidance of NDMA, ma'am.
So, sir, the 2-3 key points which have come, which we are also aware. One, the department and SDMA's differentiation. So that's something that we would like the experts to now, talk about it. So number two, some of these states, especially West Bengal, in our earlier conversations with them also, they are not fully aware in terms of how they should make this cell into a full-fledged SDMA. Some of these states have become only functional when a disaster hits. So, it is a cause-based functionality. So these are the two things, sir, and we would request Dr. Vatsa to respond to this, so that mitigation program in particular is getting affected. And number two, the consultants are not aware of the governance structure, and the governance structure is not aware of the technical expertise. So this is the gap.
So I think it's such a discussion must be initiated with the senior leadership of the state government, that there are legislative provisions of the DM Act which suggest a structure of the Disaster Management Authority, and this must be constituted at both the state and district levels. So first thing is the notifications. It's very important that the state governments notify the disaster management authorities. I would also request you to just check how many states have notified it. Because notification is also a very, very important part. And then we look at the requirements of the Act, including the amendments that are being considered by the Parliament, and that we need to constitute it as properly as possible. Now, within the Act, what does the provision is that the state government will provide the staff for the Disaster Management Authority. And therefore, it is important also, and SDMAs can be active, can be more functional only when they are adequately supported by the departments. There is a duality, but at the same time, it is also important that the departments are controlling in many ways. So one of the suggestions which I have always made, that the Secretary Disaster Management or the Relief Commissioner should also be the CEO of the SDMA. You will see that when the Relief Commissioner is also occupying the position in the SDMA, things become much easier and simpler. When there are dual the officers of the SDMA and the officers of the department are very different, then the relationship always tends to suffer and become, in many states I have seen this, the relationship is not very smooth, and it has implications for the functioning of the SDMAs. So this is why I'm saying that the one, that it is important that all the states be in conformity with the Act. If there is an Act, why should we not be in conformity? And of course, consultants are not in a position to point out these things, given the situation. So these are some of the things that we also need to take up with the senior leadership of the state government. We should make it clear. And in some way, we should also say that many of the things that we are doing with the state government are very much contingent upon the implementation of the Act. If the Act is not being implemented, then the states need to take some consequences for that. Thank you.
I would now like to understand from other states, apart from the ones that we have highlighted, since it is a lot of consultants who are present here, how equipped do you feel in terms of the technical knowledge? Because this is a multi-hazard, approach that we are all, we have set our SDMAs to. But मैं अमन जी आपसे दोबारा पूछूंगी, आप बिहार से आए, आपको टेक्निकली कितनी चीज़ें पता हैं और आपको क्या लगता है किस तरीके की ट्रेनिंग आपकी और होनी चाहिए?
रिस्पेक्टेड मैम, बिहार में अभी सर लोग भी बताए कि हम लोग यहाँ ट्रेनिंग बहुत अच्छा होता है, कार्यक्रम भी अच्छा होता है, सब कुछ अच्छा होता है. मेरा एक फोकस है बस कमिटी और बोर्ड के लिए रिक्वेस्ट है मैम कि हम लोग कंसल्टेंट जो काम करते हैं 3 साल बाद हम फिर कहीं जॉब ढूंढते हैं, फिर एसडीएमए में डीडीएमए में इंटरव्यू देते हैं, 6 महीना ढूंढते हैं। तो डिजास्टर से मैं खुद लड़ता हूँ, लड़ते लड़ते फिर आपदा जोखिम के तहत जो हम जोखिम हो जाते हैं। तो मैं ऑल बोर्ड मेंबर, ऑल एनडीएमए मेंबर, रिस्पेक्टेड मेंबर सर और डायरेक्टर मैडम और अनुज सर भी जान रहे हैं कि हम बिहार में काम अच्छा कर रहे हैं, सभी लोग जान रहे हैं बिहार में अच्छा काम भी हो रही है। बस मेरा एक रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप एनडीएमए के तहत से मुझे किसी भी स्टेट में इंडिया में नॉमिनेट कर दो मैम, फील्ड में मैं सबसे बेहतर काम करता हूँ, करके रखूंगा और करता रहता हूँ।
थैंक यू। आई वुड जस्ट लाइक टू देखिए, ये जो एक इशू है काडर का, इस पर हम हरियाणा से भी थोड़ा बात करना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि सिक्किम ने भी बताया कि उनके यहाँ पर काडर के ऊपर बात हुई है। ये यूनिफॉर्मिटी सब जगह नहीं है। टुडे आवर सीनियर लीडरशिप इज हियर टू टॉक अबाउट दिस, बट लेट अस नॉट लेट्स नॉट पर्सनलाइज इट एंड लेट्स नॉट गेट एक्साइटेड अबाउट इट। वी आर ऑल अवेयर ऑफ दिस इशू, बट लेट्स ट्राई एंड फाइंड आउट व्हाट इज द थिंग। हरियाणा, आप थोड़ा बताना चाहेंगे?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thanks each and everyone and the team of NDMA to invite us and to give an opportunity to talk about our challenges as well as our best practices. So, ma'am, आपने यहाँ पे हमारे से कैडर के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं। उससे पहले I want to highlight कि कितने ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज है हमारी स्टेट में और किस किस एरिया से हैं, कौन कौन से एक्सपर्टीज़ हैं और चैलेंजेस क्या आ रहे हैं उसमें। तो ऑल एंड ऑल 30 पोजीशन जो है वो कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल बेसिस पे अप्रूव्ड हैं फ्रॉम स्टेट डिज़ास्टर मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी से, जिसमें डायरेक्टर, सीनियर प्रोजेक्ट ऑफिसर्स एंड प्रोजेक्ट ऑफिसर्स, ये डेजिग्नेशन है पोस्ट की। एंड उसमें एट प्रेजेंट आउट ऑफ 32 SPO जो है वो स्टेट में है, 2 SPO स्टेट सीनियर प्रोजेक्ट ऑफिसर एंड 4 POs ये स्टेट में हैं। इसके अलावा अराउंड 6 जो है POs वो सिर्फ डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में हैं। तो आउट ऑफ 30 जो हैं अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 10 और 11 पीपल जो है वो पूरे हमारे हरियाणा में जो है एट प्रेजेंट ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज हैं। एंड एज फार एज एक्सपर्टीज कंसर्न, तो जैसे मैम आपने बोला मल्टी हैजर्ड अप्रोच को पॉइंट आउट करते हुए, तो हमारे यहाँ पे फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यस एक्सपर्ट फ्रॉम हाइड्रोलॉजी, GIS, ये सारे नहीं हैं। ओनली एंड ओनली दिस पीपल आर फ्रॉम डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट। सो आई थिंक दिस इज अ सीरियस कंसर्न। वाइल आई वॉज updating the plan which was earlier updated in the 2016, so I got this biggest challenge कि इस प्लान को एक्सपर्ट्स के एरिया के अकॉर्डिंग अगर हम अपडेट करते हैं तो वी नीड एक्सपर्टीज फ्रॉम डिफरेंट फील्ड्स। सो दिस इज वन। एंड रही बात second one is regarding cadre. So one of my colleagues, she is with me, senior project officer from Haryana. So she is taking care of this area, so she will light I Ritesh.
It's fine.
Cheer.
So one thing which from the state of Haryana we would like to highlight.
Cheer पे बैठ जाओ।
One important thing regarding the cadre for disaster management, at present, as our senior consultant has already highlighted, we have the position that those positions are on the contractual basis. We filled these positions, people left. When they got the better opportunity, they left the system, and this is the major drawback. We could not, have the institutional knowledge with the new people. जब भी नए लोग आते हैं वो सिस्टम को समझते हैं, काम को समझते हैं, वो काम करते हैं, जो बेहतर अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है वो चले जाते हैं। जब तक डिज़ास्टर मैनेजमेंट में एक एटलीस्ट फ्रॉम द नेशनल लेवल एक रेगुलर काडर का पुश नहीं होगा, रेगुलर काडर की एक आप लोग जब तक उस चीज़ को प्रोत्साहन नहीं मिलेगा, तब तक डिज़ास्टर मैनेजमेंट में इट इज़ प्रीटी मच डिफ़िकल्ट कि सस्टेनेबिलिटी आ पाएगी। दिस इज़ व्हाट वी आर फेसिंग एट द आर स्टेट लेवल। इनफैक्ट इन द कंसल्टेंट नू का जो हमारा पोजीशन था अंडर द DDMA प्रोजेक्ट, the person got left. We have to again recruit for the position. So within the 3 year span, we have to change the 2 persons. So it is our humble request if you can consider for a regular cadre system within the disaster management, not for the whole system, because surely we need the consultant, we need the experts from the outside for the specific fields. But for the basic things, we should have a proper structure, proper regular cadre for disaster management. Thank you.
So, ma'am, I have a question. Suppose there is a formally established cadre for disaster management. So, how will they be recruited?
In fact, in our state, sir, for these posts, those are contractual posts. We are recruiting through our commission, sir. So that is the only way, sir. जहाँ से अगर एक बार recruitment हो जाता है, because अगर मतलब we need those state selections, sir.
So, you have a written exam and a main
Yes,
exam.
sir. Yes,
and
sir.
an
We already
interview.
did, sir. Yes,
so, that
sir.
means you already have a cadre.
But on the contractual basis.
No,
Yes.
sir, we don't have cadre. This is on the contractual basis.
Contractual basis means for 3 years.
Yes, sir.
So then there are just two systems. No? One
Yes,
is
sir.
permanent employees
Yes, sir.
who come through the commission, and second is contractual basis who come for 3 months, whether they come from commission or elsewhere. For 3 years, whether they come from commission or whichever else way they are recruited.
Yes.
तो दो ही systems हैं, कोई तीसरा system तो है नहीं.
Yes.
तीसरा सिस्टम नहीं है ना. एक है डायरेक्ट रिक्रूटमेंट फॉर 36 years of सर्विस, और दूसरा है कि टेम्पररी रिक्रूटमेंट फॉर 3 years which is extendable after some time. So we must understand that why this was done. So government of India had its whole system worked on 36-year recruitments. Like I am a 36-year recruitee. I am originally an economics graduate and an MBA. My skills may have been used for first 3 years, but I don't even remember the M or the B or the A of MBA now. Okay, I am an IPS officer. My actual field policing was up to the year 2006. I may not even know the exact right sections I may not even remember. A lot has changed, a lot of court cases have happened, a lot of jurisdictional processes have happened. So, you see, the reason why the experts were hired on a contractual basis was to get fresh and new ideas. We bring longevity. We means people who are on permanent service, like ma'am mentioned. आप longevity, standardization और institutionalization एक set लेके आता है. एक set new knowledge, youth, enthusiasm, new ideas, PhD thesis and doctoral thesis लेके आता है with latest ideas. तो ये दोनों एक साथ काम करते हैं in the temporary plus permanent system. Now, if a person who is currently a consultant wishes to be a part of the 36-year thing, then there is an established system of state service examinations through the commission, union public service examinations. So the reason why separate cadres government of India has now stopped creating is because a lot of issues arise over the years in promotions. In promotions, after you get recruited, you'll say, okay, where's my promotion? Then where's my promotion? So uske liye pay commission had to say that every 10th year you must get at least one scale rise if you're not a promotion. So these issues have become so many and so highly litigated in courts that it has become a big, huge job for more people to be recruited to deal with this part. So that is why the overall states and everywhere you must have seen that separate cadres are not being taken in. Now I am by no means qualified to comment on this because I am not DOPT. Department of Personnel and Training handles these matters. These are my personal views and I am saying this from what I have seen and heard of from the government. So there are merits in people who have understanding of a certain subject coming into the system, and there are demerits also. So it's very difficult in government. Every decision of government, whether you have to make a dam somewhere or a road somewhere, road का alignment ऐसे होगा कि ऐसे होगा, हर चीज़ debatable होती है. और end में the government has to be the discretionary power and take a 49-51 decision. So if it takes a decision based on one input, it will be a 100-0 decision. There will be a lot of chaos after that. So these things have been thought about. It's not that we have not been made aware of what Bihar and Haryana have said. Dr. Vatsa and I and Mr. Rajendra Singh, we've discussed this many times. But it is something that is in the domain of the DOPT. It is not that you will request it and we'll be able to sign one order and say ki chalo ho gaya. It's a very complex decision. It is a government of India level decision. If a state government is taking the decision, government of India has nothing to say to that. Thank you.
Sir, आपने ये कहा and I think the two models that are coming up are a cadre and then second is the contractual position. And I'll request Dr. Vatsa sir, we had a discussion on this, but we see a lot of other technical agencies and multilateral organizations like UN. They also have a similar system of consultancy, but their people equip themselves and are able to freely move because their own competence is so good. On that, I would like you to reflect with them, sir, so that it gives an opportunity, because on cadre system you have an opinion, sir. So I would like you to briefly touch that, then we move to plans.
Okay. So, if we are contemplating a cadre which consists of permanent positions at the national and state level, I don't think there is much receptivity to these ideas within the government. For various regions, for the regions of efficiency, for the regions of fiscal burden that it places, and whether we can go on creating more such cadres. So this issue has been discussed, and within the government there is not much enthusiasm for a national cadre consisting of permanent positions. But at the same time, we can definitely think of a national system through which the professionals could come into the system and move up the ladder and follow and get some incentives and actually have a lifelong career in a particular area, provided all the institutions which constitute the National Disaster Management System, NDMA, SDMAs and DDMAs, are part of the system and they have a well-defined structure. When the NDMA, SDMA, within the NDMA also, we have not created, the last time the certain positions were sanctioned was in 2008 or 9. And after that, we have not added any position. We are just expanding the number of consultants to meet our technical needs. I think this is the structure which all the SDMAs would also follow eventually. They will have a very small number of permanent positions, maybe from 5 to 10 or 11. And after that, there would be a number of consultants at the state level and at the district level. How these consultants actually need to be inducted and how they can move up the ladder, that is something we need to design. And we have done some work in that area, how a consultant, the issue raised by our colleague from Bihar, how one can join the system and move from one position to another, from one district to another, from district to the state level, and from the state to the national level. For that, there should be a system. For that also, it should not be that there should be some parity in the salaries. There should be some parity in the there should be a certain structure which all of them should follow, and then it would be easier for the consultants to move from one level to another, and they can also pursue a lifelong career in disaster management. I think this is something that is feasible, and we have actually developed a structure. It is still under consideration. We are still pursuing that. So, and we will present it. We have presented it before the states in the past, and we will again do that, so that, and the good thing about it is that it does not require any government permission. All the state governments can activate it, can implement it, and you have adequate resources to do that. Through the SDRMF, you have enough resources that such a staff structure can very well be supported. The thing is this, that the SDMAs should come together to implement this. This is very, very important. There should be some enthusiasm on part of the SDMAs, that they articulate the need and they follow this structure. We will also do our best to do this. But again, I mentioned this has to be done through the consultancy mode. I am not very hopeful of getting permanent positions at the DDMA, SDMA and NDMA levels anymore. Thank you.
So, the picture is not all that dismal.
Yes.
या हमें इतना ऐसे सोचने की ज़रूरत नहीं, क्योंकि ये जो कॉन्सेप्ट हमारे दिमाग में है कि परमानेंट पोजीशन मतलब हमारी जॉब सिक्योरिटी है, बट हम यहाँ आपको एक ऐसे नेशनल सिस्टम के बारे में बता रहे हैं जिस पर इस समय बात हो रही है, जिससे आपका खुद का एक्सपर्टीज इतना रहेगा, और एक जो इस समय हमारी बात चल रही है कि पैरिटी ऑफ स्ट्रक्चर हो जाए अक्रॉस द कंट्री, पोजीशंस एंड टर्म्स ऑफ रेफरेंसेस पे भी एंड सैलरीज पे भी एक यूनिफॉर्मिटी पे बात हो रही है. सो आने वाले समय में हमें लगता है दैट वी विल बी एबल टू ब्रिंग अ लॉट ऑफ यूनिफॉर्मिटी and a lot of satisfaction in terms of making disaster risk reduction management and technical expertise around various natural hazards as your career profile, and it should not be demotivating or disappointing the way you are perceiving at the moment. So there's a lot of hope. Now having said that, आप सभी लोग अपने डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स पर या स्टेट्स पर देख रहे हैं डीएम प्लान्स. हम आपसे ये समझना चाहते हैं कि आप खुद एक डीएम प्लान को बनाना, उसके टेम्पलेट को कितना अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं. विल गो इन ऑर्डर विथ गुजरात to talk about it, and उसके बाद मैं केरला पर आऊँगी. So गुजरात में we request you to talk about your understanding on the current status of the disaster management plans in Gujarat and how you have mainstream it with other developmental sectors and the ministries within your state. Thank you.
Namaskar. I am from Gujarat State Disaster Management Authority. We in Gujarat have prepared state disaster management plan in two phases, two volumes. As per the section 23 of the NDMA, National Disaster Management Act 2005 and State Disaster Management Act 2003 of the state. As per volume 1, we have there is 11 chapters and annexes included in the volume 1, and इसमें हमने लगाया है major duties, facilities of the SUOC and list of equipment which we have provided to emergency response center. वो annex में है. दूसरा वॉल्यूम है उसमें 1 to 10 चैप्टर है. उसमें हमने रखा है एक्शन प्लान्स फॉर द disasters. Not only that, we have prepared 33 districts district disaster management plan and also city disaster management plan. Every year we will update it and send to site, our website, updated in website. हमारा प्रेजेंटेशन एसडीएमपी से है तो हमारा कंसल्टेंट राजेश भाई डिटेल में प्रेजेंटेशन करेंगे। थैंक यू।
हाँ मैम, ma'am, I am senior consultant at Gujarat State Disaster Management Authority. As far as DDMP concerned, when I was appointed in 2023, since last 2 years, completely we have provided training to all these DPOs, district project officers, to refine their DDMP based on this draft model framework for district disaster management plan. And accordingly, all districts have refined or updated their DDMPs, and we all know that updation of plan is a continuous process. We cannot update the plan at a time and it is 100% successful. So little bit effort is continuously being put to update the plan, and we will come up with better and better plan with reference to the DDMP and SDMP. नहीं,
सॉरी मैडम,
Good afternoon, respected dignitaries and my dear colleague. They are the consultant from all the departments and NDMA team. With respect to state disaster management plan, first I would like to bring to kind notice that Delhi has 11 districts, and each district has a disaster management plan, and every year they update this disaster management plan and submit it to a state headquarter. The other issue, the state disaster management plan, which has been approved in 2015 and 16. I have joined this SDMA in November 22nd. After that, we have prepared this SDMP plan. It is in a draft process. It is in a draft stage, and I feel totally comfortable to update this state disaster management plan, which is completely aligned with the national NDMA guidelines. Here we are, certain things we are in a process that first we are doing HVRA. As you all know that Delhi government, they have a collaboration with the GSDL, that is a Geospatial Delhi Limited, and with support of them we have initiated District West and District East to initiate hazard vulnerability risk analysis on the GIS mode. We are also working on the incident response system, and very soon we are trying to notify this. There is in this SDMA, there is a trigger mechanism, SOP, and there is a complete trigger mechanism with respect to each disaster where Delhi is vulnerable to, especially fire, earthquake, flood. All these three we have focused majorly on this. We also included some technical part, as I have said that we want to bring all the things which is already with the GSDL for the HVRA and other things. And then we have also included their 112 ERSS cap, and we also included for the communication part we have 53 satellite phones which is distributed to all the dignitaries. We provide the training and we have incorporated those things in our SDMA. So I think it is in a draft process, and very soon we are again approve this SDMP.
Now, I'll not move to the states. I will request if any of the state feels that the DM plan is something which is just in paper and we are not really implementing it at the state level, and then it comes to the district level also we are not implementing it. एक plan बनाना एक बात है और उसको कार्यान्वयन करना दूसरी बात है. तो आप में से जो भी ये समझता है, प्लीज also understand this is not to kind of this is showing ourselves in bad light, but it is okay because this is the वर्कशॉप टुडे. इसके बाद हम आपके सीनियर लेवल के साथ एक वर्कशॉप करेंगे जहां हम इन फीडबैक को ये बोल के नहीं बताएंगे कि किसने क्या बोला, बट जो एसेंस निकल रहा है उस पे हम बात करेंगे. तो आई वुड लाइक टू रिक्वेस्ट इफ एनी स्टेट would like to come forward and mention in terms of the DM plan being there, but its implementation. What is the status? आप हाँ पंजाब.
थैंक यू मैम. मैम पंजाब की तरफ से नहीं, बट बीइंग इन 3-4 SDMAs मैं एक ही चीज़ बोलूँगा. मैं SDMP जो है दैट शुड बी कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव डॉक्यूमेंट, जो एक बार बन गया ठीक है, बट लाइक वी आर डीइंग इन हीट वेव एक्शन प्लान्स, एनुअल एक्शन प्लान्स बनने चाहिए मैम पूरे डिजास्टर्स के लिए. हर हैज़र्ड स्पेसिफिक एक्शन प्लान बनना चाहिए और उसकी मैंडेटरी हो कि हर साल अपडेट हो. तो एक्शन प्लान जो होते हैं वो बड़े ब्रीफ होते हैं. एंड लाइकवाइज इन NDMP 2019 दोज प्लान शुड बी इन अ मैट्रिक्स फॉर्मेट मैम. सिर्फ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ हों, ESFs हों. जो चैप्टर्स लिखने में हमें टाइम चला जाता है वो चैप्टर एक बार लिखे जा चुके हैं. दोज आर स्टैटिक SDMPs. वो स्टेट लेवल पे जब हम जाते हैं, जब SDMP अपडेट करने की बात करते हैं तो वो फोकस करते हैं वो स्टैटिक चैप्टर्स को अपडेट करने की, जो कि एक बार बन चुके हैं. तो मेरा एक रिक्वेस्ट ये रहेगा कि एक जैसे हम हीट वेव एक्शन प्लान के ऊपर में बहुत NDMA की तरफ से काफ़ी अच्छा पेरिसल होता है और हम लोग बना भी पाते हैं, हर साल बनाना पड़ता है हमें. तो वैसे ही अगर स्टेट डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट एक्शन प्लान बने हर हैज़र्ड के लिए, अभी हीट वेव आया है उसके बाद फ्लड के लिए बने, फिर विंटर सीजन के लिए बने, और जो बाकी मल्टी हैज़र्ड्स हैं जो ह्यूमन इंड्यूस्ड डिजास्टर्स हैं उनके लिए बने. तो दैट वुड बी अ बेटर अप्रोच, बजाय इसके कि हम पूरे SDM, क्योंकि जब हम SDMP अपडेट करने की बात करते हैं SDMA में जाके, तो वो पूरे डॉक्यूमेंट को अपडेट करने की बात करते हैं, थर्ड पार्टी को देने की बात करते हैं, पैसा भी ले जाते हैं मैम, वो एज इट इज़ वही डॉक्यूमेंट बन के आ जाता है. इट इज़ नॉट अ क्रिटिसिज्म, बट वो एक बार बन गया उसको रहने दे रही है. डायनेमिक चैप्टर्स होने चाहिए एक्शन प्लान के हैज़र्ड स्पेसिफिक मैम. ये मेरा सबमिशन है मैम. थैंक यू
मैम. मैं MP से हूँ.
मैं एक मिनट, मैं मध्य प्रदेश पे आने के पहले एक मिनट कृष्णा सर से यहाँ पूछना चाहूँगी. सर, what they've mentioned and आपने भी एक बार ये हाईलाइट किया था कि बहुत मोटा DM प्लान का टेम्पलेट is not being effective, and now we have already revised it and made it more comprehensive. But what Punjab just now mentioned is that they feel that whenever they're asked to revise, they hire some agency or something, and then that static chapter again gets revised, but the action plan, which is more of the activities that you mentioned, does not come by. So how do we guide them to resolve this so that it is a hazard wise an annual calendar in terms of, like he pointed out that heat wave is something that everybody is able to understand and implement it better as compared to other hazards plans. यदि मैं सही बता रही हूँ तो बताएं.
कह रहा हूँ कि जैसे फ्लड कंटीजेंसी है, पंजाब में फ्लड सबसे ज़्यादा बड़ा डिजास्टर हैज़र्ड माना जाता है, तो उसके लिए कंटीजेंसी प्लान बने हुए हैं, बट वो भी स्टैटिक ही रह जाते हैं. जैसे हमने लास्ट 2 साल से जब भी हमने ज्वाइन किया या मेरे कंसल्टेंट ने मोगा में ज्वाइन किया है, तो हम लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि हम उनको छोटे मैट्रिक्स फॉर्म में, जैसे कि NDMP है सर, दैट इज़ अ वेरी वंडरफुल डॉक्यूमेंट कि जिसमें क्लियर रोल्स एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ हैं, किस लेवल पे आपको क्या करना है, किस लेवल पे क्या करना है, वैसा सर होना चाहिए. और हम जब उसको प्रेजेंट करते हैं तो वो हायर अथॉरिटी को लगता है कि नहीं ये तो SDMP नहीं है, SDMP तो उतना बड़ा होना चाहिए. तो सर ये मेरा सबमिशन है सर.
मैं तो 2 चीज़ें हैं, एक तो स्टेट डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट प्लान और एक कंटीजेंसी प्लान. दोनों अलग अलग चीज़ें हैं, तो वो हमें क्लैरिटी रहनी चाहिए. स्टेट डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट प्लान के लिए हमने जो गाइडलाइंस है वो थोड़ा रिवाइज कर दिया है. वी हैव रिड्यूस्ड द साइज ऑफ द स्टेट डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट प्लान्स. आप थोड़ा अगर हमने इसको सारे स्टेट्स के साथ शेयर भी कर सकते हैं, ऑल दी स्टेट्स. हमने कहा है कि स्टेट डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट प्लान 100 पेज से बड़ा नहीं होना चाहिए. तो ये जो 300-400 पेज का हम लोग लिखते हैं उसकी कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. 100 पेज का हम प्लान बनाएंगे. उस प्लान का इसका टेम्पलेट है और उस प्लान के लिए गाइडलाइंस है, आपको हम शेयर कर देंगे. सो दैट इज़ वन थिंग. द सेकेंड थिंग इज़ द कंटीजेंसी प्लान. कंटीजेंसी प्लान के लिए भी हमने टेम्पलेट्स बनाए हुए हैं. तो जैसे फ्लड कंटीजेंसी प्लान के लिए भी टेम्पलेट हैं. अगर आपको चाहिए आप जस्ट मेरे को लिख देंगे तो मैं आपको भेज दूंगा फ्लड कंटीजेंसी प्लान का टेम्पलेट. और दूसरा कि अगर हीट एक्शन प्लान, तो हीट एक्शन प्लान के लिए तो हमारा डिटेल्ड गाइडलाइंस है. तो इन दोनों के लिए हम जो हमारा गाइडलाइंस है वो हम कर देंगे. और इसके अलावा अगर आपको टेक्निकल असिस्टेंस की ज़रूरत है तो आप हमें बताएं. हमारे जो कंसल्टेंट्स हैं हम लोग सब आपको सपोर्ट करेंगे. आप हमारे साथ एक मीटिंग कर लें कि क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है, तो हम आपको उस समय स्पेसिफिक डायरेक्शन देंगे और स्पेसिफिक जो मदद की ज़रूरत है वो भी करेंगे। थैंक यू।
जैसे अभी सर ने बताया कि जो शॉर्टर टेम्पलेट है, आप में से कितनों को वो मिली है? प्लीज जस्ट रेज द हैंड स्टेट्स कि शॉर्टर टेम्पलेट कितने स्टेट्स को मिली है ऑन डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट प्लान। तो हो सकता है कि स्टेट लेवल पर गई हो और वो आगे नहीं पता चला है। तो आज आप लोगों के हमने डिटेल्स भी लिए हैं। we'll send a copy to all the states and we'll also just inform all of you. I would just like to understand from Sikkim because आप तो SDMA से ही आए हैं and गुजरात, क्या आपको शॉर्ट टेम्पलेट मिला है, नहीं मिला है?
नहीं मिला है मैम।
Okay, so that is something at our end that
दिल्ली को भी नहीं मिला।
नहीं, अभी हमने लॉन्च नहीं किया सर, वी जस्ट अप्रूव्ड।
In addition to this, we would also like to understand that जब आप लोग implementation करते हैं, so किस तरीके के challenges आपको आप face कर रहे हैं? I'll ask Telangana because Telangana अभी recently you had flood and then PDNS. Do you understand all these terminologies? Does your state level and district level understand these concepts?
Ma'am, good afternoon all. My name is Dr. Gautam from Telangana State Disaster Management Authority. So, पहले I am coming to talk about the State Disaster Management Plan. ये हमारा स्टेट से पहले हम 2021 में ये SDMA प्लान बनाया दिया था, फिर बाद में अभी ये 2025 के रिविजन के लिए हम फाइल पुटअप किया था, अंडर प्रोसेस है। और नेक्स्ट हमारा DDMP का है और वी हैव 33 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स इन द स्टेट। सो अभी तक 20 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स का DDMP प्लान रिसीव किया था और रिमेनिंग अभी अंडर प्रोसेस में है। एंड इन रिसेंट मीटिंग वी प्रपोज टू डेवलप द sectorial department plans as well as city level disaster management plan, and we are collaborating with NGOs and we are developing a pilot case study in the ward level disaster management plan, and we are conducted different training programs in the district level to understand this preparedness process in the different phases vices. And during the floods 2024 we have taken up the response things with the help of the NDRF and SGRF and fire departments, and post that event we have regularly training programs on the PDNA in collaboration with the NDMA. That's it.
Who would like to talk about their disaster management plan, the status and the challenges, if any?
Ma'am, just I wanted to suggest that बहुत ज़्यादा there is no clarity with the other line departments that how to use this SDMP. It is just in a book form, and whenever we conduct mock exercise, they know what they have to do. It is not aligned what is the exactly steps we need to follow. So I feel there is some gap with the line departments and with the procedures.
सेम इशूज MP में आ रही थी, मध्य प्रदेश में। हमने SDMP बना लिया है, हमने DDMP बना लिया 51 जिले से। तो दिक्कत क्या आती थी, जो डॉक्यूमेंट हमारी थी तो डिपार्टमेंट बोलते थे इसमें हमारा क्या रोल एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, आप उसको क्लियरली मेंशन कहीं करिए। तो हमने मैम अभी जितने भी हमारे 1000 हीट वेव हो गया, अभी हमने 7 पेज के सिंपल एडवाइजरी निकाले हैं कि उसमें उनके क्या रोल्स एंड डिपार्टमेंट का रोल्स एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, तो ये उनको क्लियर हो गया है। इसी तरह से मैम जितने हमारे 1000 से कोल्ड वेव है, लाइटनिंग है, फ्लड है, इसके लिए हम छोटे 6 और 7 पेज के एडवाइजरी सभी डिपार्टमेंट के इशू करते हैं, जो अभी हम हिट वर्क कर चुके हैं हम लोग ने।
हमारे 3 कंसल्टेंट्स तो स्टेट्स को हैंडल करते हैं, अनुज, अभिनव एंड प्रियांक। मैं आप तीनों की ओपिनियन चाहती हूँ कि जब आप DM प्लान बना के दे रहे हैं या इन्हें गाइड कर रहे हैं या इनके साथ कोऑर्डिनेट कर रहे हैं, क्या आप वहाँ पर हर स्टेट की के अंदर जो वेरियस स्टेक होल्डर्स उनकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ को भी डिफाइन करवा रहे हैं कि क्या स्टेटस है? अनुज।
यस मैडम, जो हमारा पुराना टेम्पलेट भी था उसमें भी और अभी जो रिवाइज हो रहा है उसमें हम लोगों ने क्लियरली हर हैजर्ड के लिए, हर डिजास्टर के लिए ऑल स्टेक होल्डर्स रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ ये मेंशन्ड है और ये हम लोगों ने हरदम टाइम टू टाइम इसको हाईलाइट किया है। मैम, विद योर परमिशन आई वुड आल्सो लाइक टू जस्ट आस्क 2 सप्लीमेंट्री क्वेश्चंस लाइक अबाउट द रिवीजन एंड अपडेशन, लाइक एज इन्होंने मुक्ता जी ने बताया कि इनका 2016 का प्लान बना हुआ है, सो नाउ इट्स 9 years since then. And many state SDMPs are also like 5 to 6 year old. So विवेक ने सही कहा कि ठीक है अपडेशन में कुछ चीज़ें तो जरूरी नहीं कि अपडेशन में हम सारा चीज़ बदलें, बट कुछ जो हमारे स्टैटिक पार्ट है वो स्टैटिक ही रहेंगे, जो स्टेट इंफॉर्मेशन है या जो भी है. बट एट द सेम टाइम एसडीएमपी का देखिए पर्पस क्या होता है, जो सर ने भी बताया अभी, जो है कि एक्शन प्लान और एसडीएमपी में डिफरेंस ये है कि हम एसडीएमपी में पूरे स्टेट को एक रेजिलियंट स्टेट बनाने के लिए काम करते हैं. उसमें नॉट, और एक्शन प्लान होता है रिस्पॉन्स फोकस ज्यादा. तो एसडीएमपी जो होगा वो आपका होगा रिस्क रिडक्शन एंड मिटिगेशन फोकस. तो उसका भी रिवीजन इंपॉर्टेंट है और अपडेशन जरूर करिए. सेकेंडली एक पॉइंट आउट करना चाहूंगा कि हम लोग शुरू से कहते आ रहे हैं कि एसएफडीआरआर की लाइंस पे हमारा प्लान होना चाहिए. तो जब अगर 2016 का प्लान बना है दिल्ली का, तो आई डाउट किधर ये एसएफडीआरआर कंसिडरेशन उसमें है कि नहीं है.
दूसरी लाइन नहीं सुनी कि हमने ड्राफ्ट बना लिया है उसमें, दैट इज अलोंग विद द
सुना मैंने, जस्ट आई एम हाईलाइटिंग. मैंने आपकी बात सुना था जी.
अभिनव आप बताएं.
मैम जो मेनली प्लान्स हैं मोस्टली आर ऑन द गाइडलाइंस, मतलब on an average 70-80%, but not 100%. The challenge what I see in that, एक है कि प्लान को कितना यूज कर रहे हैं.
It will also be helpful if you can just tell the states that you are responsible for.
मैम मध्य प्रदेश, सिक्किम are there, and Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Meghalaya, Manipur, मिजोरम.
आप सब लोग जानते हैं अभिनव के साथ इंटरेक्शन होती है आपकी?
यस मैम, वी आर इन रेगुलर टच. जो बड़ा इशू आ रहा है कि प्लान को इम्प्लीमेंट कैसे करना है और प्लान को यूज कर रहे हैं या नहीं कर रहे हैं मैम, वो इशू इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट. मतलब अलोंग विद द कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ द प्लान, बट दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि आप उसमें अगर आप लोग कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे तो दैट वुड बी रियली गुड कि आप रियली में प्लान को यूज करते हैं या इट्स इन द अलमीरा.
We'll still hold that question, Priyank. You're responsible for which states?
असम, आंध्र प्रदेश, अरुणाचल प्रदेश, बिहार, छत्तीसगढ़, गोवा, गुजरात, हरियाणा, हिमाचल प्रदेश, झारखंड.
Ma'am, who is responsible for Delhi?
वजीम.
Wazim is responsible for Delhi. He's organizing this conference. And, now, your opinion on this?
Yes, so ma'am, basically we are not involved in the process of preparation of the state disaster management plans. We prepared the template and guidelines and we received the final approved state disaster management plans. So we don't have any say during the process of the preparation of the state disaster management plans.
So now here we see this gap that, the template is being given to the state has to now act on it. So what we can now do is, we can issue an advisory from NDMA that while developing the plan, it will be good to clarify the role of various departments and what each one of them would do. And another thing that I feel which comes out of this discussion is, जैसे मुक्ता आपने कहा कि उनको रोल नहीं पता है, बट क्या हमने एज DDMA कोई ऐसा मीटिंग कॉल करके उनके साथ में उस पर चिंतन किया कि बस उनको भेज दिया? नहीं किया. So I think this is yet another thing. Behra Sahab, I'm just coming back to you. So this is one thing where states have to also take the initiative that once you have the plan, you need to have your regular meetings, you need to do the drills around those plans, because वो plan पर ही तो आप एक्शन ले रहे हैं. दैट मीन्स कि आपने उसको और डिसेमिनेट नहीं किया है. सो दिस इज समथिंग एट द एंड ऑफ द स्टेट ऑल्सो टू फर्दर डिसेमिनेट. बेहरा साहब आप क्या बोल रहे थे?
I'm just speaking about the practice of Odisha, how we are implementing and how we are clarifying the roles and responsibilities of different departments for implementation of SDMP. So, taking from the SDMP, the departmental disaster management plans have been prepared by all the line departments. And we have one practice that all line departments have their own nodal officer for disaster management. And the nodal officer is responsible for implementation of the SDMP or departmental disaster management plan. That is most important. And on regular basis, we have contact with all the nodal officers of all line department, how they will go for disaster management in their department. Apart from that, we have some state project officers. They are given the departmental charges. We have 3
state project officers, and they have divided, the departments are now divided among the state project officers. They are going to the department and they are guiding the departments for preparation of the departmental disaster management plan and implementation of it. And another thing is, madam, we have a pocket standard operating procedure. Whatever written in the state disaster management plan, we have prepared a pocket SOP. That SOP is given to all the departments and all the blocks, the BDO, the block development officer, the collector, or the SDMA, whoever they are using the block disaster management plan. So, like whatever our additional chief secretary or our executive director, they have that disaster management is like a war in the border. You have to practice it, model it in the regular basis, then you can succeed. But our disaster management system in Odisha is like yesterday, before yesterday, we have discussed communicating the communities, that we are communicating the departments on regular basis, having a meeting with them, with workshop with them, or writing a letter to them. You have to engage them for disaster management. But disaster management is we have only 5 days, 6 days for response activities. After that, there is no work. But you have to regularly engage the departments for implementation of disaster management activities. Then it is possible. Then another thing is also we are giving some funds to from state disaster management fund, response fund, to different departments to implement different capacity building activities. Then they will engage. When they are asking money and giving to them, then you have a regular review with them, then it will work. These are the activities, these are the actions we are taking in Odisha for better management of disaster in our state. Thank you, ma'am.
I think Odisha has, come out as one state where there are a lot of best practices that we all can follow. सिक्किम की भी कई सारी बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस है, लेकिन उड़ीसा का एग्जांपल हम इसलिए भी लेते हैं, एक तो बड़ा स्टेट है, दूसरा वहाँ का साइक्लोन मैनेजमेंट पर हम लोग 1999 से आज के डेट पे ज़ीरो कैजुअलिटी पर पहुँचे हैं. सो देयर इज़ अ रिमार्केबल डिफरेंस दैट वी हैव सीन. And when we take a certain name of a state does not mean, because each state has its contextual issues, and therefore none of these state is ऊपर या नीचे, but we got to learn from each other. मैं अम्बुच्ची आपसे सिर्फ ये पूछना चाहती हूँ कि यदि हम NDMA से क्रॉस स्टेट विजिट्स करवाएं और इन्हें ले जाएं, तो क्या वो हमारे बजटरी प्रोविजंस में अलाउ होगा? मतलब यदि हम NDMA से एक ऐसा टूर प्रपोज करें. We can support that. So I think this was a very long session, and we wanted this to be a long session because this was for us. But there are a couple of things, sir, that we have listed for ourselves. I would like to just, based on these discussions, give those 8 points to you, sir. First is that we will enlist the states that have notified SDMAs, so that we also differentiate that where the notification has not taken place. Number 2, where the department and SDMA are in sync, because that is a lesser number as compared to the ones where there's a difference. Third is we are going to also now analyze the consultants' resumes, so that we can better propose that national system and look at that cadre-based thing, and we will circulate also the idea with you all, so that you can brainstorm around it, so that a national system is more invigorated. As you mentioned about the state disaster management plan and its it to be terse, we'll be sharing shortly the smaller concise template with you all, so that's also on us. In addition to that, sir, we want to propose state-wise meeting, so that we can take every state's consolidated, more comprehensive assessment. आज तो हमें बहुत मोटा मोटी आप सबसे कुछ चीज़ें मिली है, but then we'll also in the coming year take state-wise meeting. And then, sir, we wanted to propose some cross-state visit. For instance, sir, Odisha stands out in terms of not only that, but their departmental coordination based on the DM plans, and the funds that they have transferred to various departments to undertake commensurate activities. So that's something that maybe other states can look into. Our request to Delhi would be that Delhi has to become an ideal state because all others can come and see it here. It is a lot easier for NDMA to pilot run things with Delhi. So you would have to gear up yourself more and सबसे पहले आप ही के यहाँ consultants को hire करने में NDMA can handhold and support. So sir, these were the 7-8 things that are tasks for NDMA. आप सभी लोगों को एक questionnaire हमने दिया है. मैं एक remark सर से लेने के बाद आपसे request करूँगी in 20 minutes if you all can fill it. If you feel that you need more time, then we'll have to do it after the third session. But I think 20 minutes should be good enough, and then we will break for lunch. But now I'll request the sir, you would have to assume the role of the chair now, and overall if we can sum up in terms of the review of human resources and DM plans in the state, sir.
So actually we have done a detailed exercise of the number of people that the SDMAs would require, and we have varying sizes of SDMAs depending upon the allocation of the SDRF and SDMF. What should be the technical strength of the SDMAs, and what is also important is that when we are looking at the technical staff and the composition, we also need to take into account the functions of disaster management. So as you know that disaster management has 4 parts, response and relief, recovery and reconstruction, preparedness and capacity building, and mitigation. So we should have, in each state, we should have adequate number of people supporting these functions. Maybe since the funding also has been organized in a certain proportion, that 40% is for response and relief, and 30% for recovery and reconstruction, 10% for preparedness, and 20% for mitigation. So all these 4 functions should also be the allocation of resources should be reflected in the number of staff assigned to these functions. So there should be a correspondence to the total size of the funds. And we have also suggested how the consultants need to be organized at different levels. Within NDMA, we have at present 4 levels. The 4th level we are trying to activate, that is the young consultants. So one is consultant, one is senior consultant, and one is the lead consultant. These are the 3 levels that exist in NDMA. And we are also trying to activate the young consultants so that the fresh graduates can join as the young consultants. So let's see. So these are the 4 levels, and maybe we should also think of similar levels at the state level, in the SDMA. So, and then we also have a band of salary for each level. And that band of salary could also be considered by the state government. So these are some of the ways in which the positions can be standardized, and then also we can have a proper organogram which assigns responsibility for each of the functions. This is how, and we also need to, we have not discussed DDMAs, but again, without the DDMAs, nothing would work, and it is time. I have also requested a special meeting on the DDMAs, because DDMAs right now, it is just the district collector and maybe 1 or 2 staff which are assisting the collectors for disaster management functions, but there is no proper structure at the DDMA. And maybe in the afternoon after the lunch, we would like to hear from you how the DDMAs function. So we also need to have a structure for the DDMAs, which also we have worked on. How should the DDMAs be organized? And see, if we are able to standardize this structure at the district level, and see, we have 760 districts, 770 districts in the country. We have 28 states, and we have so many 7 union territories. So think of the total staff, the composition, and how many people can very well be brought within the system. It will become a full-fledged national system. So this is what we should aim for, but as I mentioned, this is something which requires a collective effort of the NDMA and SDMAs. It has to be a joint decision, and there has to be some agreement between the NDMA and SDMA. So this is the direction which I envisage, and let's work on the issues. Thank you.
So now the structure for the rest of the day would be. So Dr. Vatsa would be with us, and it's very important, we must leverage his presence because he has worked on the various templates. He understands the Finance Commission's working. He also understands the entire gamut of how the funds can be better utilized. मेरा आप सबसे एक रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप उसी तरीके से यदि कुछ किसी चीज़ को टेक्निकली नहीं समझते हैं तो आज उस क्वेश्चन को भी रेज करें. We don't need to necessarily follow this order of schedule, because this has become more of a functional level workshop, and I'm glad, because the same topic would be again, we'll reiterate this topic and we'll call your senior leadership, so that this will be version 2 of the same title, and then we will feed in this data which is coming from the lower voices, and then we kind of feed in to the senior formation at your state level. So now you may all fill this form, and in another 15 minutes if you could give this form, and then when we reassemble at 2 o'clock, we will be talking about the state emergency operation centers, but we will also briefly talk about DDMAs. And throughout the day, now I'm going to be your moderator through the day, and that change has been brought because based on your discussion, we will have to come up with effective proceedings, and I would personally be taking care of these issues are resolved. So I would be moderating all the sessions. Please anchor, you may note that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. And though you may continue with filling the form, I will request the states who participated in this session to kindly come and collect their mementos. I will request Chair Sir, Vatsa Sir, to kindly give the mementos to the participating states for this session.
I think IIT Delhi, who is there from IIT Delhi? Madam, would you like to quickly guide them on the questionnaire?
Thank you, Dr. Shrivastava. It's a pleasure to be part of this conversation. Just to give you a brief, quick walk through the questionnaire that you have received. It's part of a joint study that NDMA is doing with IIT Delhi on improving the effectiveness of state and district disaster management plans. What you are looking at, the overall goal of this project is basically to enhance the effectiveness of these plans, and we are going to do that by looking at 3 things: the process, the extent of mainstreaming, and then assessing the effectiveness. By process means the actual process of how you put together the plan, how well this plan speaks to the various other developmental plans that exist in the state, and how useful, usable, and used is the plan actually, and how would we basically reduce risk using the plan. That's the overall objective of the project. For the questions that you have received, Next slide, please. For the questions you have received, first of all, we'll appreciate if you give your response in groups. That means one response sheet from a state. You can come together and discuss and answer the questions. The purpose is not to conduct any kind of audit or assess your individual performances. It's basically to understand the challenges that you face, and through this research help you address those challenges better. We would appreciate if the feedback is honest and not AI generated, because that would help us in coming up with more substantial research outputs. Broadly, the questions are divided into three things. Process, we have asked you questions about how hazard, risk, vulnerability, and capacity assessment is being conducted. Do you refer to NDMP? How often is SDMP reviewed? Various types of data sets that you use or you think would be useful if they are available. What is the kind of resources that are available for developing a plan at the state level? And for mainstreaming, we're trying to understand how well these plans are talking to other plans in the state. And lastly, how is the SDMP used before, during, and after the disaster? And are there any performance indicators that you have set for your state to assess? So again, once again, this is not an audit exercise. This is just a research exercise. The findings will help us inform the plans a little bit better. So think of from that perspective while answering. Thank you. And we are here to answer any questions if you have.
Thank you, Dr. Anshu. Now I will request Chair Dr. Krishnawat sir and Mirali ma'am to kindly present the mementos to the participating states for this session. I will start with Maharashtra. Please, everyone, one of you, come. Maharashtra, then Bihar, Sikkim, Chandigarh. You please come and collect your mementos. Since Andaman Nicobar is not present here, so. Okay. Wazim to collect for Andaman Nicobar. Then Gujarat, Delhi and Telangana also please come. Kerala, I think no one is here from Kerala.
आप साथ में फोटो में आ जाइए. दिल्ली. तेलंगाना.
Kerala is also absent, so Satya can collect.
On behalf of Kerala and then send it back.
No.
एक और एक ला दो बेटा.
So after you finish this exercise, we will break for lunch from 1 to 2, and this lunch is arranged in the Vigyan NXC building. Building just in front of when you go out from this building. The next building is NXC building.
You will all have to carry your
Passes.
passes.
ID and passes.
नहीं मिलेगा नहीं तो दोबारा.
अभी कहाँ है MP?